Hey guys, welcome to the video. In this video, I will tell you how you can code to detect if a number is even or odd in Matlab. Well, this is not a single video, this is part of a playlist. So I will recommend you to start from the first video so that you can understand the motivation behind making this series. You must have came across these kind of flowcharts in your courses. Before starting to explain what these are, let me first explain to you how you can build them step by step. Let's understand this with our example only. Let's say your teacher asks you that tell this number is even or odd. Well, based on your experience, you can easily tell that this number is odd. But let's travel back to elementary school where you are still aware of multiplication, division, subtraction, and addition. You don't know what is even and what is odd. So how your teacher will explain it to you? He will simply tell you the process, that by dividing it by 2, and checking the remainder, you can tell if the number is even or odd. If it is equals to 0, then the number is even. If it is not equals to 0, then the number is odd. Well, here your teacher already knew that what are the things you already know, and he only has to tell you the process. So similarly, you must also know that what are the things that your code means coding, Matlab or Python, whatever you're using, or your computer knows, or what you have to explain to it. Otherwise, you will just be shouting and you will not be getting any useful results. Okay, so in this scenario, let us assume the computer or Matlab to similar to an elementary kid who only knows what are the numbers and what are the basic elementary operations. So if it has only that much of information, then you can easily build a flowchart or steps which you have to feed to your system. So let's compare this with our example. Initially, we took a number, then we divided it by 2, then we check the remainder. So similarly, we will feed a number to the Matlab in this stage, then we will divide it by 2. We will ask it to divide it by 2, then we will ask it to equate it to 0 and give the results depending upon the remainder. So this section here can be done with the use of if-else loops in Matlab. And when instead of a single number, when we want to check a vector of numbers, let's say 2, 3, 4, like this, then we will use this thing. Well, this here can be implemented using a for loop. So let's see how it can be done. Okay, so let's understand the code. For that, let me first tell you the command to find the remainder of any number. So this is dividing 5 by 2 and we have 1 as remainder. So here we will assign this term to r, and when we will run it, here you can see we are getting the value of r as 1, but we want a variable here so that we can change the number which you want to check at any time. So here when we will run it, the R is 1 and the N is assigned to 5. So now to checking if this is even or odd, we will write if R equals to 0, then we will have display even, else we will display odd. So let's run it. Here we can see the output is odd because the division of 5 by 2 is odd simply. And then if you want a more elaborated answer other than just even or odd, then you can assign the string of whatever you want to display to a particular variable, and then the disp function here, it can also take variables. Let me show you how. We are assigning e to, first we want to write the number. So initially it will give the number, then it will write whatever you want to write is even. And also let's say I am not elementary kid, just for fun. Then let's say we want to assign one variable for the odd number is odd. Let's assign this to O. Now let's run it. Here you have the output. You can see 5 is odd. I'm not elementary kid. So these two lines are optional anyway. You can directly write the code with even and odd here. But just in case you want an elaborated output, these two lines will be helpful. Now let's say instead of checking one number, you want to check for a whole vector. Means instead of checking for, okay, 8 is already there, 9, 6, 4, or okay, 7 is left, so 7. Now we want to run a for loop because when we want to check for each number one by one. So for that we have to write for loop where this whole algorithm will run for a single number initially. So I equals to 1 to g length of n. Now what this length n does is that, let me show you. If you just copy this thing here, this is the vector n, and the length of n is 7. So basically it will run for 7 times, for 1 time for each number. Now okay, here as you are calling numbers one by one, so you must be careful here because in MATLAB the indices are defined in brackets, like n1 here is 8, and let's say n5, so n5 is this 4. So just like this, you want to operate this whole algorithm for ni, initially n1, n2, n3. So we'll write n1, n2 here also, ni. Okay, so 3 is even. I'm not elementary kid. Okay, I think the spelling is wrong. Yeah, so you can have one small gap here. That's perfect. 8 is even, 3 is odd, 9 is odd, 6 is even, 4 is even, 7 is odd, 5 is odd. So this is your simple code. Okay. Bye guys. We'll meet in the next video.